we're getting ready to watch contains a discussion about something of a graphic and or disturbing nature. If you choose to continue with this video, know that there are topics that may disturb, bother, or trigger you. You have been warned.
Get ready, guys. Welcome back to the Panic Room, everyone, and to week number 1 of Garbogust. So for this week, we are discussing a book that goes out of its way to have just all the gratuitous sex and violence. Good, wholesome family entertainment. Now, guys, if you couldn't tell from my opening, we are about to talk about a book that takes it there. I have never heard of this book, and while I was perusing the interwebs, I happened to come upon this, and if there was ever a book that fit a prompt for sex and violence, it is this one. This goes out to all of my extreme horror fans. This book makes cows look like little women. I am, of course, talking about Mother Maggot. Now, a little bit about me. I'm not afraid of maggots, but they do disgust me. And I think I'm in the majority with that. So I was a little hesitant going in, but I was like, you know what? Screw it. So allow me to read you the blurb for this book. And I feel like afterwards you guys will know why I picked it for this week of Garbogust. Warning, extreme sexual horror. After a fried chicken-fueled sex romp, Eddie embarks on a perverted odyssey. Murder, torture, geriatrics, bugs, and big beautiful women all fail to satisfy until he meets the Maggot Mother, a nymphomaniac cannibal human maggot hybrid with a sweet side. As the calories and corpses pile up, a beautiful cop with her own dark sexual perversions is hot on Eddie's trail. What will be the end result when their depraved worlds finally collide? How do you not read it after that? And oh boy, did they collide! So guys, this is going to be spoiler free. I don't think I could tell you anything that would take away from the absolute just batshit insanity that this book is. So guys, before we dive into this dumpster of gore, I actually do want to pose a question to you all. Because this whole event of Garbogust is really, I feel like, supposed to get us thinking about, you know, like, what is trash? And I know I haven't reviewed a ton of extreme horror books on my channel, but extreme horror always brings up a question in me because I usually have one big problem with all of the extreme horror books that I read. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. And that is that it seems like they get so caught up on that first word, extreme, that they forget about the rest of it. Specifically the word book and the idea of telling a story. Because it seems like, you know, it's all about, you know, this is gross and this is extreme and this is terrible, and it's like, well, where the hell's the story? Now, I've also thought that this could be one of those like, well, nobody reads Playboy for the articles packs. So is that the case? Is this one of those things where, you know, I'm trying to find the plot in a porno and it's just not there and that's not the point? And that's fine if that's the case. But at the same time, you know, what about those readers who like to take it to the extreme, that like to have those boundaries pushed, but also want an actual story? Which, to me, a lot of times seems to get lost. It just seems to get bogged down in the body count or the sex or the grossness or the violence or what have you. And you lose this story, if there ever even was one to begin with. And, you know, that's a problem for me because I like a story. That's why I read, you know? Now, if you want to throw in some disgusting scenes, like some sex, violence, gore, whatever, I'm on board for that. But should that be the point? I guess maybe that's the question, you know? And again, please feel free to comment down below and tell me, you know, am I looking for the plot in a porno? And if that's the case, that's fine. You know, for me, the jury's still out on that. You know, I think for me, I personally like to have a storyline. I like to have a plot. I like to have characters. And it seems like to me, extreme horror doesn't usually cater to that, you know, but please, I want to know what you think. You know, do you think this is a problem? Do you think this is just the way extreme horror is innately? You know, I would love to know down below what you guys think. So let's get into it, shall we? Now, like I said in the opening, you know, we are going to be talking about some crazy stuff. This is easily the most extreme horror book I've ever reviewed. Possibly I've ever read. anything and everything that you can think of happens. And I'm talking like it goes there. It does. And, you know, it goes some places that I hadn't even thought of. And I feel like I've read some pretty crazy shit, and I just didn't see a lot of this coming, nor did I want to. Did I enjoy it? No. When I wasn't being disgusted, I was laughing at just the sheer insanity of it. And I am going to give you guys some examples of that. And, you know, I don't call these spoilers because it was literally just every other page, practically, that there was something like this happening. So even if you know one or two of these, it's not going to spoil it for you. Do I recommend it? No. But for those of you out there who are crazy like myself and you like to push the boundaries with your reading, here you go. This is why they have boundaries. This is the book. This is the book right before you dive off the cliff into hell. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this is just like, there's no going back after this one. Like, you just go sailing into the abyss. All right, guys, so we're just going to do it. You're following your main guy, Eddie. And you begin the book when Eddie is rather young. I want to say he's probably like 14-ish. And his parents pass away, so he's taken in by his severely overweight aunt. Because I told you guys going into this review, there are no guardrails. There are no guardrails. Everything is at play. Everything. Including doing things to family members. And what happens between him and this aunt gives him certain proclivities through the rest of the book. Because the majority of the rest of the book takes place when Eddie is, I want to say like, I don't know, early 20s. You know, he has a job and whatnot. So if they told you how old he is, it's lost in my brain because of all the trauma of the rest of the book. So the one thing I have to tell you about old Eddie boy is that you are reminded as the reader numerous times throughout this book about how well endowed Eddie is. To the degree that at one point he actually kills a girl by screwing her because his penis is so big. Now, I laughed. I thought it was funny, but what the hell, man? What are we doing? So, and like I said, that's not spoiling shit for you. Like, there's just so much to unpack here. You know, you've got like things happening with bugs. I mean, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that you got some shit happening with bugs. I mean, look at the title. You have some stuff happening with like older people, and yeah, it's so gross. It's so gross. I mean, every bodily function, everything that you can think of, and some that you're not thinking of, I guarantee it, happen in this book. There are things with hemorrhoids that I had never thought of, that I am traumatized for, and it makes me not want to get old now. Oh my God. There's so much. And then, as if that's not bad enough, you know, you go off on this whole thing about how, like, he gets so, like, I guess depraved that he can't find something to satiate himself. So he gets wind of this, like, dark web rumor about this mother maggot thing. And it's, okay, all right, this is the only other, like, scene that I'm going to tell you guys about. So and I want to say the whole book takes place in Australia. I'm pretty sure it takes place in Australia. Because there's this whole thing where there's this group of people who have taken place in like scientific trials, but they've gone really bad. So for whatever reason, they just shoved them in this facility, like out in the middle of nowhere, and are just like housing them, you know, for no real purpose. Like maybe they're doing like, I don't know. So you kind of jump here. And this is where the whole like origin story of the whole mother maggot thing came from. And there's this scene. Okay, I'm going to warn you again. If you don't want to talk about crazy shit, it's about to get real. There's this scene where there's a group of dudes. And I want to say they were men who had taken like essentially Viagra or like a workout supplement or something that jacked their testosterone up. And now, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm nowhere near that, but I'm pretty sure this could never happen. Now, they just have erections all the time. And they're like animals, like that's all they think of. And legit, like if they see any kind of orifice, like a hole of any sort, they're gonna go for it, okay? And you have this like curator of this like museum of insanity that is taking this other character through and showing him, and it's just a device to tell the reader about what's happening in this museum of natural disasters. And I guess she's pretty because she likes to antagonize these dudes, which you and I both know is not going to end well when our book is spiraling towards its climax, no pun intended. These guys get out. Like, and I don't know, it doesn't really say, I don't think, how many there are, but there's like more than 3. Okay? More than 3, less than, let's say, 8. And they get out, and she gets locked in, which reminded me of like some Freddy Krueger backstory, kind of, sort of. She gets locked in, okay? And they're like, well, why are you running now? You were so enticing before. Why don't you do a little dance for us now? And legit, she's like, well, I guess I have to. I don't have any other choice. Seriously? Seriously. And she legit is like just doing this striptease. And then at one point, no joke, at one point she's like, I've got 2 hands, guys. I'm going to let your mind wonder what she was talking about. She's like, I've got 2 hands, guys. Excuse me? I know that I am not the most worldly of people. I'm perfectly aware of that. But would anyone in that situation be like, well, I guess I gotta do it. It's not like I can run or, try to fight them in this facility full of what I'm assuming are pointed objects or heavy shit or anything like that. It's just, it's so outside of the realm of believability for me. Like, and again, maybe that's the point. Maybe I'm looking for a plot in a porno here, but it's a problem for me because, I'm like, this is not believable. Nobody is going to do this. At least nobody in their right mind. And, and for some reason, like, in this world, like, everybody is just sex crazed. Like, nobody has any form of restraint. Like, no joke. Like, the little old lady walking down the street doesn't even have any kind of form of restraint. Like, legit nobody in this book has any semblance of restraint. They're just animalistic. And again, unbelievable for me. So we end up with these 2 stories, like you heard in the little blurb, about this cop and Eddie coming together in just like this, like, what the crap kind of way. And it's very like roll credits at the end, the way it all comes to a close. The whole book seems to revolve around this very animalistic drive of, wanting to be satiated. And it goes, I hesitate to use the word explore because it's not that intellectual, but it goes down that path in a lot of different ways. Like, wanting to be satiated with food, wanting to be satiated with sex, wanting to be satiated with, being evil to other people, which there's a scene with one of the other cops that I can't. It's so bad. It's so bad. It involves the cop that you heard in the little blurb and her partner and a prostitute and a yeast infection, and it is the grossest shit I have ever read, and I want to gag now. It's so bad. I'm telling you guys, for all of my extreme horror people, I have never heard of this book. Please comment down below. Tell me, have you heard of Mother Maggot? Because I'm traumatized. You guys are my book friends. I wanted to share the trauma with you, and what better place to do that than the first week of Garbogus? Because to me, this was nothing but sex and violence to the nth degree. There was no substance here at all. But again, I want to pose the question to you all. Am I looking for a plot where there is not supposed to be one? Is a book like Mother Maggot supposed to be just what it is? Extreme, full of sex, full of violence, full of grossness, and that's it. Is the problem with me? Because I can completely see that. The whole, like I've said throughout this video, looking for a plot in a porno, I completely understand if that's the case, but I'm super curious as to see what you guys think about it. So guys, that is it. Thank you for joining me for this absolutely insane first week of Garbogus video. I was really shocked that I had never heard of this book before, especially because I know a lot of my friends here really dig on extreme horror. And I'm super looking forward to reading all of your comments. So thanks for hanging out. And guys, if you like this, please like and subscribe. It would really help me out. And until next time, bye for now.